Hello, and thanks for tuning in to another photo critique. I recommend that every photographer, when learning photography, which is always, fun fact, submit their images to image critiques. These aren't contests. These aren't, I'm the top 3% of 30,000 entries. That's cool, but it does nothing for you. It doesn't teach you anything, and you can take nothing away from it. So when you enter an image critique, it's an opportunity to get constructive feedback. That is the kind of critique I recommend submitting your photos to. You can submit them here, mike@boudoirguild.com, and I would be happy to include them in the next one of my own critiques. This isn't just about a score. This isn't the competition. It's not about being better than somebody else. It's not about any of that. It's just about improving your own craft and getting constructive feedback from someone who knows how to give constructive feedback. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Mike Lloyd. I am a professional photographer. I've been doing it 12 years. I'm also a certified PPA print competition judge. So I've been trained on how to do this. I've judged competitions all over the country, both online and in person, and I'm stoked to get to share this feedback with you today. Even if your images aren't in this video, you're still going to learn a ton, and hopefully it inspires you to submit your own photos for the next one. So let's dive in. Let's dive into the first image here. The number one thing that we look for as judges, because I'm a PPA certified print competition judge, is impact. Of the 12 components that go into our scoring system, impact is the number one most important thing. Like when you see an image, does it grab your attention? Does it wow you? Does it make you want to keep looking at the image? So that's always where I start. And then I figure out, cool, what is the most important element within the image? Does the image complement that? The leading lines take you around the image. How is it balanced? All of those things. So that is how I approach all of my images, and that's how I'm going to narrate all of this for you today. Okay, so first thing is the impact. Even when I go down, I think it's a beautiful image, but nothing really jumps out at me. And that's because of the lack of contrast and a lot of texture. I think it's a beautiful pose. I love a lot of things about this. You've got a ton of detail out here in these sheets, and you've got a lot of brightness around in these pillows, and that takes away from the one thing that we want to actually be viewing in these images. So what I like to do is look through an image. Like I blur my vision. I focus on something beyond the image, whether it's on a screen or I'm doing prints. And I want to see what the first thing is that my eyes notice. So I'll close my eyes and then I'll just look through the image, and my eyes go here. And that makes sense because our eyes view the brightest part of an image, the sharpest, and the most contrast. Those are the three things that grab our attention. It's just how our brains work. It's how we view images. So it's bright up here. There's a lot of contrast because of all the stripes. There's a lot of detail. And these lines from the sheets, that is essentially our contrast there. Whereas if I were to cropped this down, entirely different image now. Now our focus is on our lovely model here and not on the sheets. So that's my first thing. When I look at the image, my eyes go up here, not at the subject. Maybe a vignette could help knock that down, but also it's just kind of an interesting crop. I love the crop over here. That's the perfect point to do that. I don't mind that her hair is chopped off a little bit right there. And, if we draw, that's roughly a third. All of our crop lines, perfect positions here. And these are the thirds, rule of thirds. That's what I'm looking at right here. I know this is a screenshot because we've got the scroll bar right here. I know that's not supposed to be there, but still. Okay, pose-wise, I'm digging the hands. The fists are gripped a little tight for as soft as the pose is. I'd want to see the hands relaxed a little bit more. Also, seeing the back of the hands, I know they're even right now, but you could also totally like loosen up the fingers, turn them away just a little bit. And it is pretty grainy, which we can really see, you know, down here. So I'm sure these were shot at super low ISO. I don't see any strobes. I'm sure it's window light coming in from, you know, this direction over here, because you can tell that the shadows are on this side, or the highlights rather, and the shadows are over here. So the light's definitely coming in this direction, which tells me there just wasn't enough light in the room. I don't know what the other camera settings are. If it looks like everything is also really in focus, so maybe opening up to f2.8 or something like that would throw this a little bit more out of focus, allow more light to come in so you could drop your ISO and not get all that grain. Although if you like the grain, that's cool. It's photography. You can totally have grain in your images. It just depends on your style. If you want that sort of aesthetic, great, go for it. But if you don't, then you got to figure out how to get rid of it, and that's adding more light one way or another, whether it's changing your shutter, your aperture, or just adding more light to the room. But again, I love the softness of the pose. It's cropped really well. It's kind of flat because of the contrast. Let me do an adjustment layer here. Get into the curves. If I lower the shadows a little bit, we get a lot more contrast. It pops so much more. Like, she stands out now from the image a lot more than here. And just a little tiny tweak to the curves by dropping the shadows. So beautiful image otherwise. It's just, I want my attention to go to this lovely model, and it didn't. All right, let's head to the next one. I don't want to save. 'Tis Christmas time. Okay, cool. So first thing, again, impact. She jumps right out at me, and when I focus through the image, I'm looking here. So well done compositionally for that. Also, when we look at crop lines, draw our thirds, we are good. Everything is nice and balanced. We got everything right where it needs to be. Now you might be thinking, Mike, why did you only draw one line down the center instead of two lines like I did in the last one? Because you can crop on thirds or on halves. So if I were to go on thirds here, roughly, I'm also doing this on a trackpad. Yoink. We're still good because this third is right through the eyes. She is balanced between the outer thirds. This crop line is through the narrow part of her waist. It's not through the widest part of her hips. It's not through an awkward joint like the knees or the bottom part of her hips. It's not through elbows. It's not through her neck. So those lines, absolutely perfect, no matter how I chop this up. Cool. All right. I like the softness of the pose. I'm digging the hand over here. This one feels a little weird to me, the way it's kind of spread out and we're looking at the whole back of the hand. I'd want to turn that just a little bit. And it can be sideways. There's a bunch, I can't see my own hands right now, but there's different ways you can do it so the back of the hand is not facing the camera. That's generally a rule we want to avoid because it makes the hand look really wide. Also, not sure if it's just my screen, but it looks like there are some hot spots, like she's overexposed. Here, the skin is pretty bright compared to the white, fuzzy bits around her top. Same thing with this shoulder and this hand. I can't really see separation. I mean, I'm looking really hard and I can see where the thumb curls down the wrist right here, but I gotta look for it. And that tells me there's just too much in the shadow or too much in the highlights right there. Maybe if I drop that down, and we should be shooting raw, so you can do this. Yeah, so even when I drop this down, there's still, you can tell in here how bright everything still is. We've lost a bunch of that detail. So I think there is some clipping going on in there. And again, one more way that we can tell is if we grab the eyedropper tool and just select these areas, it's almost totally white. There just isn't detail left in those areas. So something to keep in mind also. And I know it can be tricky when you've got this much white and some dark elements in the image. Like, how do you expose that? I think this is really just the light was turned up too high, and you could tell the closest part is right here and right here. The light's coming down this direction. So just turn the light down a little bit more, or adjust your aperture to compensate for that. I would rather underexpose and then boost everything up in post-production than overexpose and lose that detail. I mean, obviously, if you underexpose too much, you'll clip here and here and here, and we'll lose all the shadow detail, but you can absolutely balance that. All right. Alrighty, so again, impact, great. I love the composition. We got some clipping in the highlights over here. Just a quick recap. I love that her eyes are looking off this direction because it makes you wonder, who is over there? Who is she checking out with this pose? I like the lower body positioning. I wish the legs were out just a little bit more because we get the foreshortening down here in her leg, the way she's sitting on it. It makes her thigh look really short compared to this thigh. I know I didn't draw them, but like if we go top of the hip to the knee, and then we go top of the hip to the knee, her right leg looks a lot, her left leg looks a lot longer because we have the foreshortening where this leg is pointed directly at the camera. So turning her just a little bit more, or bringing the knee over to like here and having the legs be kicked out to the side would really help out there. I'm digging the outfit though. It's photographing well. We don't get any weird moire lines. Also the clipping up here in the hat too, look out for that. I like that there's a little bit of separation, a little rim light on the poof ball in the back so we can see that. The fire is a nice touch, and the candles, like there's a lot going on in the background, but it doesn't feel distracting to me. I would probably want to move these candles over to here to fill that space instead of overlapping her. I like the little stars up here. The reeds really help to break up all of this real estate. So I don't know if those were added for the sake of the photo shoot, but good on you for leaving them in. Yeah, there's a lot I do like about this photo. I mean, the softness of the pose, the light's good, it's just a little hot. I love the direction over here. She has a very soft look on her face. Overall, well done. I'm sure if she's a client, she'd be very, very happy with this photo. Well, that was great. I hope you learned a ton there. I love doing these because it also keeps me on top of my game. I'm constantly reminded of all the things that I need to be looking out for in my own images so I'm not making these easily preventable mistakes. All these other things that I'm balancing in the shoot, I don't always catch everything. In fact, I rarely catch everything because it's not possible to. But if I can mitigate how much work I have to do in post-production, and if I can improve the ratio of photos taken to photos I show my client, that's a win. So hopefully you take something similar away, but let me know, why do you watch the photo critiques? What do you get out of them? I would love to know why you're here. Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to watch more videos like this, I have other critiques here on this channel. If you want to know more about posing, lighting, or about marketing, sales, pricing, any of those things, I got killer videos on this channel. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of them. And if you want to know more about making multiple six figures in your photography business and just fast tracking and getting there ASAP, head to boudoirguild.com and check out the courses I have available for you. You are amazing. See you inside.